Good morning, everyone, and welcome to class today. Let's start with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Shri Teswarji, beloved Master Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet, O great ones. Help us to feel thy guidance, thy power, helping us to grow spiritually. Help us to find thee in this very lifetime. We are thine. Bless us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's hear a song, and you're welcome to sing along if you would like, and then an excerpt from a talk by Swamiji. Today, it's about 6 minutes long, Swamiji's talk, but a very important talk. Welcome again.
Sing in the meadows and everywhere. Sing out a blessing to everyone. Lift up your voices, lift your hands on high. Sing and the battle is won.
Sing in the meadows and everywhere. Sing out a blessing to everyone. Lift up your voices, lift your hands on high. Sing and the battle is won.
Sing in the meadows and everywhere. Sing out a blessing to everyone. Lift up your voices, lift your hands on high. Sing and the battle is won.
Sing in the meadows and everywhere. Sing out a blessing to everyone. Lift up your voices, lift your hands on high. Sing and the battle is won.
Sing in the meadows and everywhere. Sing out a blessing to everyone. Lift up your voices, lift your hands on high. Sing and the battle is won. Sing in the meadows and everywhere. Sing out a blessing to everyone. Lift up your voices, lift your hands on high. Sing and the battle is won. Sing and the battle is won. Sing and the battle is won.
That whatever karma you have, if you also work, don't worry about the bad karma, work to develop good karma. This is why it's very important to act for God, to act in good ways, to not worry about whatever has happened before. As Sri Yukteswar said, forget the past. The past lives of all men are dark with many shames, but everything in future will improve if you are making the right spiritual effort now. You can't unmake an energy nearly so easily as you can redirect a new flow of energy that will offset the old. Let's say that you've got a lot of energy moving in this direction, and it's an energy toward darkness. And suddenly you put out a lot of energy here. If this energy is stronger, you no longer get pulled that way, you get pulled this way. And that darkness becomes transmuted, and it finally becomes transformed into light itself. That there isn't any black energy that can't be converted into light energy. It depends on energy itself. How much energy you put out, how much concentrated energy, and this all comes back to willpower. Yogananda said the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. And so when your willpower is strong, to do the right thing. There's the marvelous story of Milarepa. I don't know how many of you have read that book, but it's well worth reading. It's Tibet's greatest yogi. He lived a few hundred years ago, and his mother had been cheated after her husband's death, cheated out of her inheritance by unscrupulous relatives. And she was unable to forgive, and helpless as a woman to revenge. And so she counted on her son, Milarepa, to revenge her. And out of a misplaced sense of filial loyalty and devotion, he went out and learned the arts of black magic. And through the arts of black magic, he created a little form in the shape of those relatives' fields, and was able by incantations over this plan to bring a hailstorm that destroyed all their crops. And then by black magic he was able to materialize all sorts of poisonous insects and snakes and so on that killed all those relatives. And it was after killing, I think, 33 of these relatives that he suddenly woke up to what a great sin he had committed, and that he had to bear the burden of that, even though he was doing it for his mother, out of love for his mother. And he realized that inevitably he would have to suffer for many lifetimes because of what he'd done. And so he tried to find a saint who would help him to overcome in one lifetime all that bad karma. Now mind you, most people simply would have gone ahead and suffered all those lifetimes. It was not an inevitable destiny, however, that he do so. Nor was it an inevitable destiny that he not do so. You must remember that too. It was up to his free choice. We have a certain amount of free choice. We'll come back to that because it's a very difficult subject in itself. But he found a guru who knew yoga, and he asked him to initiate him into this yoga. The guru said yes, he would be able to free him in one lifetime from this karma, but he must be a true and obedient disciple and do everything that he said. And so Milarepa said, all right, I will. And Guru Marpa wouldn't initiate him at first. He told him that he needed a house built up there on that hill in stone. And Milarepa, a young man, strong, but nevertheless this was quite punishment for his body, had to roll heavy stones up that hill to put up that building. And he had it just about finished when the guru came over and saw it and said, this isn't the hill I told you to put it on. I told you to put it on that hill, way at the other side of his large property. And so Milarepa took all the stones down and rolled them over to that hill, and finally had the house almost built. And his guru came over and saw it. He said, I didn't tell you to put it there. And Milarepa said, I very clearly remember, sir, that you did. I must have been drunk, said the guru. I didn't want it there, I wanted it here. Anyway, all this time people would come and get initiation and leave, and Milarepa was just there like the sort of a slave doing all this work, and he was getting more and more discouraged every time that he was told that he had to start all over again. He would just fall into the pits of the blackest despair. And finally, after he had finally given up, his guru called him. After a long time of this outrageous discipline, his guru called him and said, such was your karma that you had to fall into complete despair 8 times before you could be free from the burden of it. Now you're fit to be initiated. And so he did initiate him, and Milarepa went and meditated in a cave for many years and became the greatest yogi Tibet has known. Remember that. Remember also what the Bhagavad Gita says. 2 very important things. 1, that even the worst of sinners, if he will steadfastly meditate, quickly can find me. And 2, even a little bit of the practice of this religion, that is to say, this inner religion as opposed to mere outward ritual, this inner religion of yoga, of communion with God inwardly, of lifting the consciousness up into superconsciousness. Even a little bit of the practice of this religion will free you from dire fears and colossal sufferings.
Good morning again, friends. This is such a wonderful topic. Banat, Banat, Ban Jaye. I want to start with a brief reading, Swamiji's words. Sri Rama Yogi, a very great yogi in India that Master met and I met also, told me a lovely story about a young man who was initiated by his guru and then given the job of bringing in wood for the kitchen stove and the fireplace in his guru's ashram. Day after day, this man carried out his task with great dedication. Bringing in the firewood was his sadhana. One day, as he was unloading the wood from his shoulder, a few hairs from his top knot got caught between the logs and were pulled from his head. Looking at them, the man realized his hair had turned white. His whole life had passed, and he had done nothing but carry wood. He thought of all the wonderful spiritual experiences he had hoped to have. Now he had attained nothing. He was so unhappy, he began to weep. Just as the first tear was about to fall from his cheek, his guru rushed over and caught the tear in his hand. If even one tear from such a great soul should touch the ground, his guru said, this whole country would be plunged into famine. Don't you know what you have attained? Then his guru touched him, and the disciple went into cosmic consciousness. It's so important to remember. People say, this didn't happen, I didn't get this, I didn't get that experience, why didn't I get this? You don't know what you've attained. All we can do is keep moving forward, keep doing what Master said, keep our hand in his hand. Know that his help, his good karma. Master said, I'll give you lots of my good karma. He didn't say a little. He didn't say to some. He said, to you, I will give lots of my good karma so that we can get through. So, of course, we have to do our part. We can't just sit and think he's going to just give us good karma when we're not doing anything. Remember, Swamiji said that, Kriyanandaji said he met a yogi here in India and sadhu. And he asked him, well, what sadhana do you practice? Nothing, I do nothing. As Swamiji said, you could tell he was doing nothing. So nothing doesn't work. We have to put our efforts in, and then we receive the blessings. And I remember I was just thinking how we go back and forth. We just, yes, I'm going to do it. Then, no, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I don't feel good today. I don't want to do any sadhana. I don't want to serve. I don't want to go to the class. I don't want to go to Kriya. I don't want to. But you have to lift up that part of yourself that's saying, yes, say yes to life. And I recall when early days we were at Ananda village. Well, I remember this Swamiji would say, he would come into the room and say, good morning, great souls. And people would look around and he would just, who is he talking to? But he was talking to me, you, all of us. And in the mornings when I was living at the meditation retreat, Swamiji and others as well, but he himself would come around and do a strolling kirtan alone to wake you up in the mornings. He'd be chanting and he'd maybe have kirtals or maybe the guitar, but he would come around to all the tents and all the cabins, and you were just mesmerized. You just felt, yes, I want to do it. I know I can. And I looked in another house, Ananda, San Francisco, where it's not there anymore, but we would sing in the mornings, go through all the floors. It was a 5-story house, big mansion, singing and just trying to get people up and just to remember. And Swami Shrikeswaraji said, oh, my saint, wake, wake. And we would sing that song. So most everybody would get up and come to sadhana. But I remember someone threw a shoe at the door and yelled out from inside, leave me alone. And I think we all get that point sometimes, just leave me alone. I don't want to do it anymore. But that's that side of us is just pulling down, that just wants to be comfortable and not do anything and be lazy. And that's why satsang and sadhana and being with others and coming on these programs like this, getting inspired, get your energy up and get it moving. That's why it's so important. And Master said to keep in your mind that aspect of who and what you really are. He said to read and remember my words of the poem Samadhi. And he said, one of the beautiful lines is, I, the cosmic sea, watch the little ego floating in me. And you, as you keep going forward, the ego gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's the little ego, and it's not dominating your life. And those worries and fears smaller and smaller and smaller. And all the sense pulls and habits and behaviors get smaller and smaller and smaller. You can look behind you, and this one's gone, and that one's gone, and that's over, and this is over. And you look back there and you see you've changed. Master said you won't be able to recognize yourself. Just keep his words in your mind. And there was that man who would toss the flower petals on his own head. Well, first of all, he tossed them on his guru's image in his sadhanas. And then one day he went into his ecstatic state himself and he started tossing the flower petals on his own head. Now, that wasn't from ego. He was in ecstasy. And he said, what's in my master, that's what's in me. And this is what masters come to show all the masters. What? Look at you. Don't just put the picture on the wall and say, oh, my guru, my guru. What about you? You, away. That's what I love. I love it. Getting closer to the goal. When Swamiji came to Master, he asked him, he said, am I going to find God in this lifetime? He was 22 years old. And Master said, at that age, remember, and he was new to the path, 22, just coming, Master said, yes. Wow, he said, yes, but don't think about it. So what did Swamiji do? He did the practices, he served, he was doing Kriya in Master's name and speaking in Master's name at that age, and he was editing Master's where he did whatever Master said. Then he wrote the books, he founded communities, he lectured all the way to the end. Swamiji was serving, Banat, Jaye, and he made it. Master told him he would make it. Master has made the promise to all of us. But he said to one group, one monk, he said, you will have clear sailing. And all the other monks said, did you hear? He said, we would. Master didn't say them. He said to that one man. And then Master said, yes, well, you all will have clear sailing if you stay in tune. Now that's a big if. And there were thousands of people who came to Master, let alone come to Ananda and coming to Swamiji, came to Master. One event, he said there were 3,000 people here the other night at the event. And he said, how many will come back again? And he said, I bet we'll have 5 for our classes. How many came back? 5. But he said, those who are our own, they come and they never leave. So consider yourself Master's own. Keep going to the end. I mean, the fact that there's people who've been on this path that I know and you know for over 50 years, that's quite inspiring that they've gone that far and they're still serving, they're still joyful, they're still meditating, they're still doing Kriya, they're changing. And I remember at the end of several of my friends' lives, which I was astounded. Swamiji said, I think they were free. They passed away. Swamiji said at their astral ascension, I know of 3 people. He said, I think they were free. Even if they weren't, the fact that he thought that they might have made it, wow, what an inspiring thought. And that has to be in our minds all the time. To close, there was that one disciple of Sri Chaitanya. And that one day they were all asking, oh, Guruji, when will I find God? And when will I find God? And he said, oh, you this lifetime and you maybe 2 lifetimes, 3 or 4 lifetimes, and you a few more. And so his chief disciple came. He said, well, Master, what about me? And he says, 1,000 lives. And all the other disciples were aghast. They thought, oh my God, we've got to console him. The disciple went out onto the porch, and they went out and they saw him dancing in ecstasy. And they said to him, haven't you heard what the Master said? You're not going to find God for 1,000 lifetimes. And he said, have you not heard what he said? I will find God. And right then his guru came out and he touched him. And in that moment, he was self-realized. Master said self-realization is the knowing in all parts of body, mind, and soul that you're already in the presence of God. You just have to improve your knowing. Take away everything that you aren't by Guru's grace, by seva. 25% is our effort, 25% Guruji gives you his good karma, 50% is the grace of God. Sadhana, keep your sadhana strong. Seva, I mean, if you never serve, how do you expect to get there? You get out of yourself by serving. Find some way to get out of the ego. Serve the Guru's work. Give to the Guru's work. Whatever you can do. And keep your meditation strong and keep your satsang strong. We'll all get there. Swamiji had this one monk said he had a dream where all the brothers were running towards the light, and some of them fell, and in fact, all of them fell, and many of them made it. And Swamiji said, did I fall? Did I fall? And he said, yes, everybody fell, but people got up and they kept going and they got into the light. Get up. Get your energy up. Get more magnetic. Get more energy flowing. Be with the other Guru Bhais. Be with strong people. Be positive. Be energetic. Be enthusiastic. If you can't be that, be with others who are. Come to the programs. And then you will find that it's already there. We're in that state. We just have to improve our knowing. God bless you. And let me just read this to close from Swamiji's book, Raja Yoga, on spiritual progress. Each soul's relationship with the infinite is unique. Compare yourself not with others, but only with your own self. Do you love God more now than as you used to? Are you developing even-mindedness? Are you more inwardly contented and joyful, or at least happy? Are you renouncing self-will? Do you want to serve and please only God? If your answer to these questions is yes, and if you can add to your answer the wish to grow daily in these sublime virtues, know that God and Guru must be well pleased with you. Offer yourself into their arms. They will bear you surely and swiftly to the divine shores. Om Guru. Om. I'll invite Nitendra to come on screen now with the questions we have for today.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. I'll just share the list of questions. The first question, Dhyanaji, is, I seem to go up and down on the path. Sometimes I feel like I am making a lot of progress. At other times, I feel like wrong attitudes and behaviors come back. So how do I become more stable on the path?
Okay. I would say you can't get there by yourself. You can't get there on your own. You can't get there on just your own will. You can't get there just through doing the techniques on your own by yourself. You can't get there through not having the Guru's grace. You can't get there through not having satsang. You just can't get there. Master gave a formula: satsang, seva, sadhana, being involved with things that are going on. coming to things, being a part of the energy of this big wave of energy. You can't get there by yourself. So to become more stable, come to things, serve, do your satsang, do your sadhana. Now here's one more, come to satsang. One more is just be happy. Isn't that a wonderful answer? Be happy. Now, sometimes you're not happy because some behaviors came back. That's only temporary. They're gone. They're just coming to haunt you for a while, but they don't have any power. Just don't indulge in them. Just let them be. And if you just keep going, you'll find that you'll get out of it. Karmic bombs will explode, but you come out. I've had many, but I came out stronger, with better attitudes, with better behavior, with more strength, more power. If you want to be babied on the path, you've come to the wrong one. You'll have your tests, but go through them. And just every day, I'm just like grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for my guru. I'm thankful for the path. I'm thankful. Be thankful. It changes your energy. And be with stronger people. Don't be with weak people. You call them up. Yeah, I've got problems. Do you have problems? I got problems too. It doesn't help you. Be with really strong warriors. And if you've got difficulties, call them. Talk to them. Don't be around weak people. As less as possible, be with weak people. Be with strong people, and you will get strong.
The next question is, some people, I feel that they are soaring on the path and they have never any difficulties, whereas I seem to have a lot. Why could that be?
I think you're looking in the wrong direction. Look at yourself. Why are you looking at them? I don't get it. You're looking at the wrong direction. Turn back and look at yourself. Look how you've changed. Look at your old photographs. Think of your old behaviors. Think of your old habit patterns. Look at yourself. You've changed. You had to have changed. Even I used to see people coming to our retreat, the Expanding Light in America. In 2 days, their face was different. It wasn't heavy, worried looking all. They were happy. Look at yourself. Don't compare yourself, as Swamiji said in this reading. And you will find that everybody has their own karma. You can't have their karma. They can't have your karma. Seems like, that's the word, it seems like they don't have any difficulties, but they do have difficulties. Everybody has them, or we wouldn't be here. We're going through tests to get strong and grow spiritually. So look at yourself and be grateful that Master has taken on so much of your karma. He's taken a lot. You get to scratch and he takes care of everything else. So I would say that, look in the other direction. And then if somebody is having a wonderful time, applaud them, encourage them. Great, wonderful, instead of, how come that didn't happen to me? Yeah. Okay, next question.
Next is, Dhyanaji, it's a live question. In spite of consistent and sincere work towards my vision, there is a very long delay to what I want to achieve. At times, this feels discouraging. So how do I keep going in such situations?
That's a good word, delay. That's a delay. Well, let's put it this way. It could be a delay for lifetimes. But I think with Master's grace, it's not going to be that much of a delay. It might be a delay for some months. It might be a delay for some years. But I mean, if you can get out this lifetime, try it. And I would say here again, here's the point. The guru knows what he's doing. As long as you're doing your part. Now, if you're not doing your part, there'll be a long delay. Do your part, but let Master take care of it. Anything you feel like, I'm not doing this, I should be, give it to the guru and say, Master, I'm doing my part. I don't want to have this feeling. Remember, Swamiji was plagued with doubts. And he said, how did he get out of those doubts? He said, as I loved my guru more, the doubts disappeared. What a beautiful answer. As I loved, meaning as I opened my heart, the doubts disappeared. You can say this for anything. As I opened my heart to Master, the anger went away, or the moodiness, or the selfishness, or the hatred or whatever, it went away because I was in love with God, because I was in love with Guru. Aim in that direction and things can't help but fall off. I remember a phase I went through where, when I grew up, we listened to this, all the popular, maybe you all too, popular music and jazz and everything. And then at a certain phase, I let all that go for Ananda and Master's music, Master Swamiji. Then at a certain point, that music just started trickling back. And it said, what about me? Don't you remember you used to like me? And so I started listening to it just a little bit here and there. And but that it was a very temporary phase. But things come and they say, remember, you used to be moody. Wasn't that fun? You used to enjoy that. You used to enjoy yelling at people. Remember that? And then you just say, get off. I don't want you anymore. You have to be strong in yourself. Don't say, okay, come back. Just get out. And then you find that it was just a ghost testing you. One of the tests on the path. Okay.
We have two more questions, Dhyanaji. Maybe we'll go a couple of minutes over. The first one is, what are some of the biggest tests and challenges on the path? And what were some of yours and how did you overcome them?
Well, that's a long question, but I'll make it short. There's a lot of tests. One is rebelliousness. Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do. Another big one is ego, that you think you're a big person and you are, you're the best and everybody should love you. And now you're on the path and you're having the best meditation experiences and on and on. But that's one. Another is sense desires. The senses try to trap you. They keep pulling you back. Oh, don't you want that drink? Oh, don't you want that? Oh, don't you want to do this? Or don't you want to do that? And they're hard to get rid of. So the senses entrapping you. That's another one. Another is a desire for things of the past. Like I was saying about that music. Your old friends come around and they say, come on, what are you doing now? Okay, I'll come with you. The old behaviors come, the old attitudes come back. They're just passing through like a cloud. Just let them go. Those are the ones. And for myself, I think a lot of people had this, but I definitely had. I was definitely a rebel. I just didn't want anybody to tell me anything. Just don't tell me anything. And don't get involved in my life, which was a ridiculous thing. But people have that. I don't need anybody. I don't need anyone. I don't tell me what to do. And I got beaten pretty badly. After that, I changed. How do you get out of it? Go through that experience and you'll change. And also I got out by Master's grace and Swamiji's help and Guru Bhai's. But you start heading in the direction of a delusion, talk to one of the acharyas. It's not fun. It took me 3 years to come back to Ananda after leaving because I was so rebellious. Thank God Master brought me back. So it's nothing to play with. And then you have?
Good that you are back, Dhyanaji.
Thank God.
Yeah, one last question, Dhyanaji. What are the signs of spiritual progress? How do I know if I'm getting anywhere?
Yeah, well, I read what Swamiji said, and I would say, look, are you happier than you were? Are you more fulfilled in yourself rather than I have to have this, I have to go here, I have to go to the mall, I have to shop, I have to buy it, that the senses are just screaming. Do you feel more aligned and attuned with Master, God and Guru? Do they fill your heart more? Do you enjoy more being with them rather than being outward and outside? Are you serving? That's big. Are you liking, desirous of serving? You notice I didn't mention the meditations and all of these things. I mentioned who you are. Are you happy as one? Are you joyful, serviceful, loving? Are your relationships better? Maybe. Is your relationship with yourself better? These are all signs along the way. The main one is, do you love God more? Do you love Guru more? And want to share with them, share and serve their work and share their teachings. I would say those are the main things. Okay, thank you, Natendra. Thank you all. Such a wonderful topic. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.